What if I told you that one rainy afternoon, a 15-year-old boy wrote a list that would define his entire existence? This wasn't just any to-do list. It was a blueprint for one of the most adventurous lives ever lived. This is the story of John Goddard, a man who stared at the map of the world and saw not borders, but a bucket list. Picture this. It's 1940. A young John Goddard is sitting at his kitchen table, listening to his father's friend lament his life's regrets. "If only I'd done this when I was young," the man said. That single sentence struck John like lightning. He grabbed a yellow legal pad, and under the heading, "My Life List," he wrote down 127 goals. These weren't simple ambitions like learning to play the guitar. No, John aimed higher. Much higher. His list included things like exploring the Nile River, climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, learning to fly a plane, reading the entire Encyclopedia Britannica, and even visiting the moon. It was a declaration of war against a life of if-onlys. Many of us make resolutions, but how many of us follow through? John didn't just follow through, he charged headfirst into his dreams. One of the most audacious goals on his list was number 10. Explore the Nile River from source to sea. At the time, no one in recorded history had ever completed this perilous journey. The Nile, the longest river in the world, was a treacherous mix of raging rapids, dense jungles, and unforgiving deserts. But to John, it was just another item to check off. In 1951, alongside two French companions, he set off in kayaks. This wasn't a leisurely cruise. They faced swarms of insects, navigated crocodile-infested waters, and dodged hippos that could capsize their boats with a single nudge. They battled disease, exhaustion, and the sheer, overwhelming power of the river itself. After 9 grueling months and over 4,000 miles of paddling, they reached the Mediterranean Sea. John Goddard, at just 27 years old, had done the impossible. He had conquered the Nile. But for a man with 127 goals, conquering one of the world's mightiest rivers was just a warm-up. He soon turned his attention to another legendary waterway, the Congo River. If the Nile was a test of endurance, the Congo was a test of raw courage. Known as the Heart of Darkness, it was even more dangerous, more remote, and more unpredictable. John's expedition down the Congo was a white-knuckle ride through some of the most remote territories on Earth, a true testament to his relentless spirit. And then there were the mountains. John's list was filled with peaks that have captured the imagination of climbers for centuries. He stood on the roof of Africa after summiting Mount Kilimanjaro. He conquered the iconic Matterhorn in the Swiss Alps and Mount Fuji in Japan. Each climb was another victory, another line crossed off that yellow legal pad. By his own account, he scaled 12 of the world's highest mountains, each one a story of perseverance and breathtaking views. But John's adventures weren't limited to just grand expeditions. His curiosity was boundless. He became a licensed pilot, fulfilling goal number 49. He became an expert fencer. He learned to type 50 words a minute. He even studied primitive cultures, living with tribes in the Amazon and the Pacific Islands, documenting their customs and languages. He dived with sharks, ran a 5-minute mile, and played Clair de Lune on the piano. His life was a mosaic of incredible experiences, big and small. One of the most fascinating aspects of his list was its intellectual breadth. Goal number 115 was to read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. Think about that for a moment. 32 volumes, over 40 million words. It was a monumental undertaking that showcased his insatiable thirst for knowledge. He didn't just want to see the world, he wanted to understand it. He also set goals to read the complete works of Shakespeare, Plato, and Aristotle, proving that adventure could be found not just on a mountaintop, but also within the pages of a book. So, what drove him? What was the philosophy behind this extraordinary life? John often spoke about what he called the typhoons of the mind, the storms of fear, doubt, and procrastination that prevent us from pursuing our dreams. He believed that the best way to overcome these storms was through action. By setting clear written goals, you create a map. You give yourself a destination. Without that map, it's easy to get lost in the sea of everyday life. He wasn't fearless. He admitted to being terrified on many of his adventures, but he had a powerful antidote to fear: preparation. Before every expedition, he would study, train, and plan meticulously. He knew the risks, but he also knew his own capabilities. He understood that courage isn't the absence of fear, but the decision to act in spite of it. Over the course of his life, John Goddard successfully achieved 111 of his 127 goals. Some, like visiting the moon, remained just out of reach, limited only by the technology of his time. But what a record! His life became a powerful message. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Don't let regret be the final chapter of your story. Write your own list. Dream big, and then, more importantly, do the work. Even in his later years, John continued to inspire. He became a renowned lecturer, sharing his stories with audiences around the world. He encouraged young people to create their own life lists, to chase their own adventures. His legacy isn't just in the rivers he kayaked or the mountains he climbed. It's in the countless people he inspired to live more fully, to take that first step towards a goal that seems impossible. John Goddard passed away in 2013 at the age of 88, but his story is more relevant now than ever. In a world full of distractions, his life is a powerful reminder of what's possible when you live with intention. It challenges us to ask ourselves, what's on my life list? What adventures am I putting off for someday? John's story proves that you don't need to be superhuman to live an extraordinary life. You just need a piece of paper, a pen, and the courage to write down your wildest dreams. And then, the audacity to go out and live them. The world is a vast, incredible place, full of wonders waiting to be discovered. John Goddard saw it all as his personal playground. Perhaps we should too. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please hit that like button and subscribe for more tales of incredible lives. And let me know in the comments below, what's the #1 goal on your life list? I'd love to read them. Until next time, keep exploring.